Om Sarvadharmasthapakas Sarvadharmaswarupakah Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. We are studying this Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master as the spiritual teacher, second part. And the spiritual teacher has melted into Sri Ramakrishna the Divine. And as an example of the Divine, those devotees who could recognize Thakur as God, that relationship is being described. And the chief in that is Gopalarma, the Brahmani of Kamarhati, who could see that her Gopal is Thakur, Thakur is her Gopal. And her description we are seeing that Thakur put her into touch with Swami Vivekananda and asked her to narrate everything to him. And she first asked, will it not be a fault? Because Thakur had told her that one should not describe this to anybody. Then Thakur assured her there is no harm, because it was Thakur wanted to influence Swami Vivekananda. And also, she should be sure about it. So when she started describing, she got those experiences again. And so, with weeping and all that, she was describing. And she was asking now and then that she knew that she had not read any scriptures. She is an illiterate woman. And Swami Vivekananda was known as good debater and very highly knowledgeable and intellectual and whatnot. So she, while describing, was again and again asking what I felt. Is it all true or not? And Swami Vivekananda replied very important thing, that you are experiencing that. So experience can never be said incorrect. People imagine something. And it was clear that she is not imagining. She is actually experiencing. And so Swamiji said that what you have seen, mother, is all true. So that is the thing we read. Now, next week, come to para 22. One day, at this time, the master came to Gopala's mother at Kamarati with Rakha. It was about 10 in the morning. For Gopala's mother had a great desire to, no, she was bringing something to eat, but she had a great desire to cook for food. She had a great desire to cook nicely with her own hand and feed him once. That was her desire, once. The old lady was beside herself with joy to have the master with her. She gave them for a refreshment whatever she could procure. That is the Bengali style. When you go to somebody's house, they will give you something to eat and water to drink. And then they will cook. When they had finished taking it, she spread a bed comfortably in the Babu's parlor. The owners, they used to come, and so they have some place for them. Asked them to rest there, and girding up her loins, went to cook. She had procured various good things from others. She made various kinds of preparations and fed the master to her full satisfaction at noon. You understand this? Fed the master to her satisfaction. I'll tell you one funny incident. From Chandigarh, I went to Nangar, and I was guest of two Bengali ladies. And they were continuously used to ask me, will you take this, will it suit you? So many things. And so I was telling them what suits me. Then we were invited for food to a Punjabi devotee's house. They all came with me, both of them. And there they were feeding me like anything. And I was eating. When I had finished my meal, I had not yet got up from my seat. Their daughter-in-law came and said she was a school teacher. So before going, I cooked something for you and I kept it. I said, I had my fill. No, you must take from what I have cooked. And so after that, I had to take makki ki roti, sarsu ka saag, and butter on it. When we came back to the house, the Bengali ladies are saying that Swamiji loves them more, or they love Swamiji more. In our house, he was not eating anything. I told them that in your house, you are asking me continuously what suits me. And in their house, they wanted to feed. She said, I have cooked, so you must eat. And I had to respond to that. So that thing we see here, that devotees feed sadhus or God what they want. What happens to the sadhus is not their question. No. Here in your Advaita Ashram, on the first day, before my coming, I sent a diet chart. But your Bandari Swami, your President Maharaj, Adhyaksha, will always Maharaj took this, a little of this, little of that. And I generally take, okay, give me a little. So, that is what happens. We are not careful sometimes about what he feels about it. She then affectionately made a bed for him to rest on by spreading a sheet of cloth washed clean over her own quilt in the southern room on the first floor of the ladies' apartment. That Babu's kutia in the morning, the ladies' apartment bed for resting in the afternoon. Her own quilt, on that a washed chadar, bedsheet. Rakhal also lay beside the master, for the master looked upon Rakhal as his own child and treated him accordingly. Now the para-heading reading. Invited by Gopala's mother, the master went to the Kamarhati garden and saw a ghost there. That is the main thing here. That is coming up. The master saw a strange thing there at that time. We venture to state it here only because it was heard from the master himself. That means otherwise it is a doubtful thing. Otherwise, we would have suppressed it. The master used to have only a little sleep during the whole of day and night. I tried to calculate, I don't think more than 2 hours. Because in the night by 11 he is sleeping. And after midnight he is waking everybody up. And in the afternoon he is here, he is resting, he is talking. So, Sattvagun avatar is described as Vishuddha Urjita Sattva Svabhava. Now, without adding some Raja and Tama, man's body cannot be made. Now, some Raja we see it. But Tama, how much? 2 hours sleep. He was therefore lying quiet. Rakhal fell asleep by his side. The master said a bad smell was felt. Then I saw two figures in a corner of the room. Their appearance was hideous. Out of their bellies, the entrails were hanging down, and their faces, hands and feet were exactly like the human skeleton arranged in the medical college which I saw at some time. That means only bones. And from stomach point, the intestines are hanging out. They said to me, Amli, why are you here? Please go away from this place. We feel much pain. Perhaps to remember their own condition to see you. On the one hand, they were thus supplicating, and on the other, Rakhal was sleeping. Seeing that they felt pain, that is Thakur. Even the ghost request is accepted. I was going to get up and come away with my small bag and towel when Rakhal woke up and said, where are you going? Saying, I will tell you later on. And catching hold of his hand, I came downstairs. And taking leave of the old woman, she had just finished taking her food. I went and got into the boat. I then said to Rakhal, then after going away, there are two ghosts there. The mill of Kamarati is situated near the garden. They live in that room by smelling, for with them smelling is eating. The bones, etc., thrown away by the Europeans after they have taken their meal. I said nothing of it to the old woman, lest she should get afraid, for she had always to live alone in that house. He was sure that they will not harm her. They are good ghosts. They will never harm her. And seeing Thakur and comparing their condition, they were feeling pain. So that is Thakur's magnanimity, God himself. Ghosts are also creatures in his creation. So, and they are good ghosts. If they are feeling pain, he comes away and does not inform this to her Kamarati Brahmani. She has always to know that she will be afraid. Ghosts. So, that is peace to everybody. That is avatar. Now, another incident about feeding Gopala's mother. That we have seen, that Marwadi's thing is sent to her. Now, some other incident. That you see, you don't have the book, no? Now, that word peculiarly spent has come here. Mati Jheel. It is Moti Jheel. Jheel is a lake. And Moti is diamond or like that. But they spell M-A-T-I.
Jheel also J-H-I-L.
No. Ma written, pronounced in Bengali as Mo. So these days when somebody sends to me some messages, they straight away write O only. But here, because if you see Sanskrit background, it is Ma. And Ma we represented MA. So here it is in MA and Ta or Ta. English has no differentiation. Sometimes pronounced soft, sometimes hard. So for Ta and T, and generally T we will pronounce as Ta. So Moti has become Mati. A again, A or A. In English there is no difference. So Ma, Mo has become Ma, and Ma has become Ma, and T has become T. So those who do not know Bengali will straight away read it as Mati, Jheel, something with the clay. No, that is Moti Jheel. The paraheading is there. The master fed Gopala's mother with thickened milk at the Kashipur garden and said, Gopala eats through her mouth. So there is a big story about it. Moti Jheel, the lake in front of the garden of the lake is given. Lake in front of the garden of the late Matilal Shil. Motilal Shil. Sil. In Bengali, sha pronounce same. So they write S for all. And in English, for Raswa and Dirgha, there is no special thing. So S-I-L, people may read Sil. It is Shil. Motilal Shil, a famous rich man of Calcutta, is situated on the road going north along the bank of the Ganga straight up to the Varanagar Bazar beyond the bridge. So describing that Kashipur garden house. Moti Jheel is situated on the road going north along the bank of the Ganga straight up to the Varanagar Bazar beyond the bridge. The garden house of Krishna Gopal Ghosh, the son-in-law of Rani Katyayani, the wife of Lala Babu. This you must know. You know Lala Babu? Belur Math you are gone. Now if you stand on the Ganges bank in Belur Math and look northward, there is another ashram. Lala Babu's ashram or Lala ashram or like that is the name. So that is the place being described. There, like Rani Rasmani, there was Rani Katyayani. And she has been described as wife of Lala Babu. Now something happened. And that wife told him that so and so is doing tyaga. He has so many wives and is giving up one by one. Then Lala Babu said, tyaga is not like that. But you don't do anything, she said. Comparatively, is it not? He just with the gamcha on, he left and became a sannyasi. That is the story of Lala Babu. So is all old property and all that belongs to Katyayani. The son-in-law of Rani Katyayani, the wife of Lala Babu, is situated across the road to the east of the place where the north part of this lake touches the road. That is a different place, in Kashipur. I am describing this Lala Babu's mutt near Belur Mutt. It was in this garden that Sri Ramakrishna stayed for 8 months, from the middle of December 1885 to the middle of August 1886, when he disappeared from the gross eyes of the devotees. It is this garden, called by them the Kashipur garden, which, alas, produces great grief and delight too in their midst. Alas, he said, great grief and delight too. You may say the master was then in his sick bed. Why then do you speak of delight? Wonderful. My Guru used to call cancer Leela. Though apparently he was in a sick bed, it cannot be expressed in words with what a wonderful bond of love, the external manifestation of that disease in the divine person of the master tied the devotees together. For it led to the grouping of the devotees into different classes, devotees of the inner and the outer circles, monks and householders. Not the same classification, different classification. Those of the path of knowledge and those of devotion. The difference is becoming clearer there. From the beginning it is there, but it will become very clear. Again, it was here that the firm basis of the conviction that all of them belong to the same family, inner outer both. Sannyasi and householders both. Jnani Bhaktas both. Was established here. Besides, who could ever have an idea of the number of persons who came here and became blessed by having an immediate knowledge of the light of spirituality? Other than these disciples, because they knew Thakur has come to Calcutta, near Calcutta, so many started coming. Innumerable. It was here that Narendranath experienced the Nirvikalpa Samadhi as the result of his sadhana. But here he experienced it. It was here that the 12 boy devotees, including Narendra, had ochre cloths from the holy hand of the master. Which 12? Somewhere the names are given. Now we count 16 disciples of Thakur. Actually 17. Now, here 12. And amongst 12, one who did not remain afterwards. His name was Gopal. So they used to call him Choto Gopal or Gutko Gopal. Suddenly he would come and go away. So he was one of the 12. And like that, 11 cloths Thakur gave. And when he kept, and he gave to Girish Babu that one. So these are the 12. 10 of them continue. And then when they joined Varanagar and all that, then they became 17. One name is dropped. So we know 16. You know that. There was a person named Tulsi Maharaj, Swami Nirmalananda. He was the head of the Bangalore Center. And he created so many centers in the South India, especially in Kerala. And then something happened. Then his name, they removed his name from Thakur's disciples. But in the old books like Leelaprasanga, the name is there, they could not remove that. Anyway, so a little painful chapter, but for fact of history, I am telling 17. His name was Tulsi Maharaj, Swami Nirmalananda. He was a great friend of Sharat Maharaj. And it was here again in the afternoon from 3 to 4 p.m. of the first day of January 1886. Actually, they said the time is 3:20. In the course of his last walk in the garden path, that the master was in an extraordinary ecstatic state of mind to see the devotees. For January, so many householders had gathered and imparted direct spiritual power to them by touching the hearts of all with his holy hand and said, What more shall I say to you? May your spiritual awakening. It is intranslatable word, Chaitanya ho. And here he talks of power. प्रत्यक्ष धर्म शक्ति संचारित करे. So this power, here is that page mark, is spiritual power. Yes. Imparted direct spiritual power to them. By touching the hearts of all with his hand and said, what more shall I say to you? May you have spiritual awakening. Chaitanya ho. Tomader Chaitanya ho. That means you should get Chaitanya. That means we can translate it as, may your spiritual consciousness awaken. And they reach whatever was highest possible to them in this life, they reach by the instant. Now that does not remain, but they know where they are going and they reach it by their sadhana later on. This is the whole thing. And it proved that he is God. As in Dakshineshwar, here also came every day crowds of people, men and women. Here also the Holy Mother was daily engaged in the service of the Master, preparing his food and doing other household works. And Gopala's mother and other lady devotees also came to him and took part in the service of the Master and his devotees, service of the Master and his devotees. Some of them spending a night or two also before they returned. When therefore we think of the wonderful assemblage of the devotees at the Kashipur garden, it appears to us that the Mother of the Universe produced the disease in the holy body of the Master only for the fulfillment of a great unknown purpose. What great unknown purpose? All that described. It was here that witnessing daily the Master's divine sports, the coming of new devotees, the Master's ever blissful figure, the daily manifestation of his extraordinary powers. Many devotees of long standing thought that he only feigned his illness for the good of the people. Long standing devotees, but they felt like this. And he would discard the disease as soon as he liked and be in health again. In one place, he said, only Swami Vivekananda knew that body has its disease. And then he has added, sometimes. That means sometimes Swamiji also forgot and see God is playing. During the days in the Kashipur garden, so happiness and misery, why? Like this. During the days in the Kashipur garden, the Master took only liquid food made of barley, vermicelli, farina, etc. From that, the tradition has started. In the night, we offer suji payas to Thakur. In the night. But there his food was like that. One day he expressed a desire to take the thickened milk prepared by mixing with it the powder of jedori. I thought tapioca only. Jedori. Palo devakir. What is jedori? We don't know. It is some starchy substance like panifal, you know. Panifal in Bengali? हिंदी में सिंगाड़ा बोलते मालूम है, पानी में होता है ना वो। बंगाली में सिंगाड़ा बोलने से कचौरी ऐसा हो जाता है, समोसा, और उसको पानी फल कहते हैं। अब पानी फल का जो नट होता है उसका पाउडर बनाते हैं, और उससे हलवा बनाते, ये बनाते, वो बनाते। तो वो हो सकता है। अब मैं इसमें दो चीजें देखने की कोशिश करूंगा, पहले से देख के नहीं रखा है। एक ऐसा कि ये झेडोरी का क्या मीनिंग दिया हुआ है। झेडोरी प्लांट, झेडोरी मीनिंग, इसको यूज्ड इन मेडिसिन, परफ्यूमरी एंड डाइंग। ट्रांसलेट झेडोरी टू बांग्ला। What is the answer? One minute, I will find it out. An Indian plant related to turmeric with an aromatic rhizome. बंगाली में झडोरी है कह रहे। मैं इसको बंगाली छोड़ के हाँ हिंदी लगाऊं। हिंदी, अदरक जैसी एक सुगंधित जड़ी, अदरक जैसी एक सुगंधित जड़ी। So it is not पानीफल, it is not टोक्योका, it is अदरक जैसी एक सुगंधित जड़ी। And let me see Marathi also. Huh? I did not come. नहीं आया, ठीक है। अदरक जैसी एक जड़ी। ट्रांसलेट जडोरी टू मराठी, वही जडोरी दिखा रहे हो, ठीक है, छोड़ो। अदरक जैसी एक जड़ी, बंगाली में पालो लिखा है। मराठी लीला प्रसंग में क्या किया है वो देखना पड़ेगा। One day he expressed a desire to take thickened milk prepared by mixing with it the power of Zeduri, as was generally given to invited guests on special occasions in the houses of the Calcutta people. You know, if you make only thick milk, it is hard for digestion. So they mix like this. Nobody raised any objection to it, or as it was possible for him to take barley, farina porridge, etc., they thought there was little chance of thickened milk aggravating the disease. The doctors also did not raise any objection. It was therefore settled that Yogindra should go to Calcutta early on the morrow, purchase and bring a little of such thickened milk from the market, from that halwai's house, halwai's shop. Yogindra started at the appointed time. On his way, he thought, the thickened milk available in the market is adulterated with many other things along with the powder of jadar. Will it not increase the illness if we take it? He started thinking. But Thakur has again and again told, what I tell you, you should exactly follow. All the devotees looked upon the master as the life of their life. Therefore, all had only one thought in their minds since he fell ill. It was certainly for that reason that such a thought arose in Yogin's mind. He thought again, but I did not ask the master about it before I left. Therefore, will you not be annoyed if I have to have it prepared by some devotee and go back with it? Thinking variously, Yogananda arrived at Balram Babu's house at Bagbaza, where, when the devotees asked the reason of his coming, he said everything. All the devotees there said, "Why market milk? We ourselves will prepare it and give it to you. But it cannot be taken there at this time of the day, for it will require time to prepare it. In Halwai's thing, it may be ready prepared. So please have your meal here now. In the meantime, the milk will be got ready. Take it at 3 in the afternoon." Yogin agreed, acted accordingly, and came back to Kashipur at about 4 p.m. with the homemade milk. Sri Ramakrishna had wanted to take the milk at noon and waited a long time for it, but at last he took his usual food. Afterwards, when Yogin returned, the master heard everything, became much annoyed and said to him, "You were told to buy the milk from the market. I wish to take market milk. Why did you go to the devotee's house and give them trouble over it? Besides, this milk is too thick. When you make it pure, it will be too thick and hard to digest. Can this be taken? I will not take it." And in fact, he did not touch it even. Not happened. He had it there to eat. He asked the Holy Mother to feed Gopala's mother with the whole of it and said, "It is a thing given by the devotees. Gopala is there in her heart. Her taking it will be the same as my doing so." He is hurrying and he is in Gopala's mother's heart. Now, in this body, he cannot take it. So, through that body, he will eat. So, that is his relation with Gopala's mother. Now, this vision of Hari and Gopala in Thakur, this grows. Once I read that she saw Gopala in the devotee's house. We read that. But she will see Gopala as the universal reality now. That vision of Gopala's Swarup is that he is the Saguna Brahma. So that she will see now. That will be the real culmination. Gopala's mother saw the universe as the form of God. When the master passed beyond the ken of gross human eyes, so it is a story afterwards. There was no limit to the distraction of Gopala's mother. She did not go anywhere outside Kamarati for a long time. She lived alone in her solitude. Afterwards, when she had visions of the master as before, that mood of hers came to an end. All the disciples of Thakur, Holy Mother even, that they are saying Thakur in front. When that is appeared, then the pang of separation comes. But then again they see Thakur. So they do not grieve. And even people now see Thakur. The whole Christianity is based upon what they call resurrection. When he was buried on Good Friday, on the Sunday, his devotees saw him again, rising from there. On that, the whole Christianity is based. We heard much of such visions which Gopala's mother had, even after the master was out of sight. One of these visions was that on one occasion, when she went to witness the chariot festival at Mahesh, don't read it as Mahesh, because in English, and I are not different. It is Mahesh, name of a village or town. At Mahesh, on the other side of the Ganga. Her bliss overflowed all bounds when she had the vision of Gopala in all beings. She said that at that time she saw that the chariot, Jagannath Deva on the chariot, and those who were drawing the chariot, that vast crowd of people, all were her Gopala. This is the form. God, devotee, chariot, everything is Gopal. So it is like Arjuna's Vishwarup Darshan. But he had assumed different forms. That was all. Inebriated with affection and intense love at getting this direct indication of the universal form of the divine, she lost normal consciousness. Once personally describing it to a woman friend of hers, she said, "At that time I was not myself. I danced and laughed, created a second Kurukshetra, a battle scene, Kurukshetra." Now, what could be the significance of it, Kurukshetra? She is referring to Arjuna's Vishwarup Darshan in Kurukshetra. So she created a Kurukshetra there. Now, further, see her life expanded. Hey, one incident we missed. It should have come before. I must describe it. It is clearly in Bengali where we missed it now. Now I'll tell the incident. We will search later on. Once Gopala's mother came, Swami Vivekananda came, and Thakur fed Narendra with the prasad from the Kali temple. So Kali temple prasad means non-vegetarian. And Narendra ate it. And ate it and went away. Now the vati in which he ate, Gopala's mother took up and washed it. And Thakur commented, "See, day by day she is becoming so much udar." Yani all her staunchness and had vanished. So this transformation must be described. Simply because some non-vegetarians come, it should not be translated in English. Anyway. So where it occurs, you have to see. But during this narration only, one point will be there. And Thakur's comment is there. She would not touch previously. That Kati Thakur had touched, she threw away. But Narendra's remnant of the food, she washed that plate, that cup. And seeing that, Thakur commented, "See, day by day, how udar or broad-minded she is becoming." So an important event. Because now we are going after Thakur's passing away. So that is gone by. I have mentioned it. Wherever possible, I am mentioning according to Vedanta. Gopala's mother at the Varanagar monastery. Whenever she felt the least restlessness in her mind, she used to come since then to the sannyasi devotees of the master at the Varanagar monastery. Because she saw them directly as Gopala and had peace whenever she came. Whenever she came to the monastery, the sannyasi devotees asked her to offer cooked food to the master and feed him. So there are rules and there are exceptions. No woman should enter, etc. No, Gopala's mother is Gopala's mother. And Thakur liked that food. She liked to feed him. So when she came, the disciples asked her, "You cook and feed." There is a similar incident. We talked of Nistarini Devi yesterday when Thakur said she does that. Now she came one day to Belur Math, old shrine. And straight away she climbed on the altar, Thakur's, and was caressing Thakur's chin, etc. The pujari was simply wonderstruck, but he could not obstruct her. From there, she went straight to Mahapuruji's room. That pujari also followed. And Mahapuruji, she said, "You see, your boys are obstructing me. Mahaprabhuji said, they are boys, they do not know you. And Mahaprabhuji asked her, please keep your hand on my head. So that disciple was still more understood. All these things you get in the reminiscences of Mahaprabhu. So that is necessary. How much respect Thakur's disciples had for him. So in Gopala's mother came, it is natural, they will ask her to put. All your rules are kept aside for exceptional case. Gopala's mother also would be delighted, prepare one or two curries with her own hand and offer them to the master. When the monastery was removed to Alambazar and afterward to Nilambar Babu's house on the other side of the Ganga, Gopala's mother came to those places also. Remained the whole day there and enjoyed bliss. She spent the night also there on the rare occasions. So woman inside the mud, she is not a woman now.
Holy Mother also used to stay.
Holy Mother, yes. Holy Mother in Belur Math stayed in, that was outside Belur Math in those days. Legate house. Holy Mother is of course Holy Mother. Gopala's mother with Western women, she is broadness. When Sara, Mrs. Sara Sibul, Jaya, these were the names given by Holy Mother perhaps, or Swamiji. Jaya, that is Miss Josephine MacLeod, and Nivedita, came to India with Swami Vivekananda now he returned from the West. One day they went to Kamarati to see Gopala's mother and were highly pleased with her talk and courtesy. She is talking in Bengali, some interpreter went. Gopala's mother saw her Gopala residing in them too. She will remember, touch their chins and kiss them affectionately. It is not actual kiss, huh? They touch the chin and kiss their own hand, symbolically kissing. She then lovingly made them all sit on her own bed. So completely difference is gone. And gave them parched rice, balls of coconut, parched rice, mudi and narkel nadu, etc., which were there in her room to eat, and asked by them, told them a little of her visions. The Western ladies also ate those things with delight and were charmed to listen to those words of hers. They asked of her some parched rice in order to take it to America. So all these are the sentimental symbols. Gopala's mother at sister Nivedita's house. Hearing the wonderful story of the life of Gopala's mother, sister Nivedita was so much charmed that when in 1904, Gopala's mother became very ill and incapable of doing anything and was brought to Balram Babu's house at Baghdad, she expressed great eagerness, Nivedita, to take her to her Nivedita's Baghdad house at 17 Bospada Lane and keep her there. Gopala's mother too agreed without the least hesitation on account of sister Nivedita's eagerness and went to her house. For Gopala, we said before, had removed her idea. It is there. No, that incident is there. It is coming here. It is coming here in this connection. For Gopala, we said before, had removed her idea of difference regarding. So sorry, I commented upon the English translation. It has come here. Because Saradananda Swamiji's method, connected things, not chronology. For Gopala, we said before, had removed our idea of difference regarding everything. We remember another event as an example of it. One day at Dakshineshwar, Narendranath ate a cup full of goat's meat directly, it is offered to the Mother Kali. and went out to wash his hand. The master asked a woman devotee to clean that place. Gopala's mother was standing there. The moment she heard that word of the master, she removed with her own hand those livings, the bones, etc., and cleaned that place. When the master saw it, he became happy and said to the above mentioned woman devotee, just see how liberal she is daily becoming. So I'm extremely sorry for commenting. Let us come here. The passing away of Gopala's mother. From beginning to end, he has described. Gopala's mother lived at Sister Nivedita's residence since then. Nivedita, the Swami's spiritual daughter, served her as she would her own mother. The arrangement about her food was made in a Brahmin family nearby. Gopala's mother, so her orthodoxy Nivedita is maintaining, but she is living there and Nivedita is serving her. The arrangement about her food was made in a Brahmin family hardby. Gopala's mother went there at mealtime every day and took a little rice. At night, someone of that family personally brought to her from room a few luchis. Luchis, you understand? Puris is common. Puris are made from atta, full wheat flour. And luchis are made from maida, the refined wheat flour. And that's the Bengal specialty. Brought to her room a few luchis and some other preparations. She lived for about 2 years in this manner. And passed away in the waters of the Ganga. That is, you know that Ardhajali. That means when a person is about to die, they take him near the Ganga and half the body in Ganga, half outside. So when he passes away, it is practically dying in Ganga. So that is called Ardhajali, half immersed in Ganga at the point of death. When she was taken according to Hindu rites during her last days to the bank of the Ganga, Nivedita decorated with her own hand her bed, covering it beautifully with flowers, garlands, sandal paste, etc. And at a party of Kirtan singers brought and dissolved in tears, she personally went with her to the cremation. It is not immersed in Ganga. Barefooted to the bank of the Ganga, Nivedita spent her nights there. For the 2 days Gopala's mother lived in that condition. Nivedita lived at the bank of the Ganga. Very early in the morning of the 8th of July 1906, when the eastern sky was assuming wonderful beauty on account of the reddish hue of the rising sun, when a few dim stars in the blue sky were twinkling and looking down on the earth, and when the Ganga, the daughter of the father of mountains, was full with her high tide and flooding both the banks with white waves and flowing with a sweet, gentle murmur, Gopala's mother's body was gently and reverently placed, half immersed in those waves. Her 5 vital hairs united with the feet of the divine, and she attained the eternal abode of fearlessness. As there were none of her relatives present, a Brahmin brahmachari of the monastery at Belur performed her obsequies and observed the 12-day period according to the injunctions of the scriptures. Son or somebody should do. So, the story of Gopala's mother concluded. At the end of these 12 days, Sister Nivedita, with her heart pierced with grief, invited many ladies of the quarter known to Gopala's mother to her own school building and arranged for Kirtan festival, etc. Before she passed away, Gopala's mother left to the care of the Belur monastery the picture of Sri Ramakrishna which she had been worshipping so long, to be kept in the temple there. She also gave a sum of 200 rupees at that time for the service of the master. At that time, 200 rupees. She considered, another important thing, she considered herself to be a nun during the last 10 or 12 years before she passed away, and always used to put on ochre cloth. So in the mind she has become a sannyasi. 10 or 12 years. So there ends Gopala's mother's. And this book in a way ends. Now, next week we'll get here in footnote is given, appendix, the human aspect of the master. And in the footnote it is given an article read by the author in a meeting convened at the Berur monastery on the occasion of the 72nd birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna. So he prepared an essay and read it out there. And it is very, very important, very important. And so that is given as an appendix to the book. He himself must have had it. So that we'll read tomorrow. And only I told the introduction about it. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakasvam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Jaya